Hey people, it is Wednesday, March the 1st. The time is 6:16 in the morning and it's currently 0 degrees Celsius. And it's time for another fun-filled, super early morning downtown walk with the Ken Continuum. So far it feels like March is coming in like a lamb. We'll see how the rest of the day goes. I think the temperature today will be on the plus side, around 3 degrees, but we might get some flurries from late morning into the afternoon. Of course, there is yet another snow event, as I like to call them, forecast to hit the city by the weekend. So winter is not done with us yet, even though there was a bit of a late start to winter this year. Seems to be trying to make up for that now, in terms of snowfall anyway. Here's Dundas Street. Maybe I'll take us over to George Street. And I've been doing these early morning walks a bit less frequently than I used to. I just don't have as much reason to be getting up early in the morning as I used to. And that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Although the morning walks are kind of fun to do. I think I'll take us straight down to Front Street and we'll take a walk through the St. Lawrence neighborhood. And we'll get the first glimpses of the sunrise, I think, along the way. And here we are, Shooter Street. Heading out of the Garden District, which is the name of my neighborhood. Crossing over into Moss Park. Both neighborhood and actual park. And I noticed there are no tents in the park anymore. There used to be a tent community right here. Seems the tents have migrated over to Allen Gardens, which is the other park north of here in the neighborhood. And all this fencing is wrapped around the southern end of the park now to make way for the upcoming Ontario Line construction project. New subway line running through the area. There are a lot of stumps that you can see where they removed trees here at this end of the park. At least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe around 8 to 10 trees by the looks of it. Not without some controversy. And of course, a similar thing happened up at Osgoode Hall, which is to the west of here along Queen. Just crossing Queen now. And we're heading south on George still. George Street sort of gets cut off by the park there, but it continues on. And I'm rather fond of this southern end of George Street. Lots of nice, charming old 19th century row houses. The missing middle is not missing in the core of Old Toronto, despite what you might hear in a lot of recent media stories regarding that. Most of the housing in the old core of the city does consist of row houses, townhouses, semi-detached houses. And if there are single detached houses, most often they're actually divided up into several units. You have to go further out away from the core to find the actual missing middle, also known as the Yellow Belt, where actual neighborhoods of detached homes are to be found. Here's Richmond Street. And I think a new tower will be rising here on this corner. This old warehouse building is being incorporated into that development, which is good to see. I'll be able to see that one rise from my apartment window. It's always fun for me when I can watch a new tall building be constructed from the comfort of my own living room. And I have had that happen many times over the years since I've been living in that apartment. And here's Adelaide Street. It's a rare occurrence to be walking along George and get a green light at both Richmond and Adelaide as you're walking along. Most often you have to stop and wait. It seems like a long amount of time for the traffic to flow past you before you're allowed to cross. Traffic is light right now, so didn't have to wait too long this time. Come by here at rush hour though, and you'll be standing here for what seems like several minutes before the light finally turns green. See, the sky is starting to light up. Just walking past George Brown College. There are several campuses around downtown, but this is the main campus on King Street. Quiet King Street East. With all the snowbanks around, makes the city seem extra quiet at this early morning time. I think I'll just go. Sometimes you think, why am I standing here? There's not a car in sight. here is Front Street. I'll be walking towards that famous view of the financial district as we approach the Flatiron building. And this is the St. Lawrence Market neighborhood now that we're in. And the market itself looking quite lovely with its winter decorations. I'm not sure if that's leftover Christmas decorations or just plain old winter decorations that they leave on. Let's cross so we don't have to walk under the construction scaffolding. Crossing Jarvis Street. Looks like people are getting ready to open up the vendors inside the market. I've noticed a number of these signs around the city recently, which always have very uplifting things written on them. And here is Market Street. And maybe the first honk of the morning. And there is the Flatiron building. We'll get the classic view here. They just recently did a reconstruction project on all the streets around this corner, and there used to be a plaque right here detailing the history of the Flatiron Building, as this was a popular spot to take photographs. I imagine they're going to be reinstalling the plaque once all this construction stuff is removed. In case that dates from the late 19th century. And just crossing Church Street. I've never climbed that fire escape. I don't know if that's possible. I'd have to find a way to get myself up to that ladder before I could even get onto the fire escape. Might need a ladder to get to the ladder. And this side of the building is pretty awesome looking as well. Its proper name is actually the Gooderham Building. Everyone just calls it the Flatiron. Of course, every city seems to have a building that they call the Flatiron, most famously in New York City. Ours is a bit older than that one, though, although that one in New York is a lot taller, obviously. We do have a couple of other Flatiron buildings in downtown that are quite tall, but they're not historic. So that's all we got for a historic Flatiron building of any significance. And it's starting to get pretty light now. And that large building you see at the end of this street is actually one of those other Flatiron buildings. That's a condominium dating from the 1980s. So that one might be the oldest tall Flatiron building we have downtown. We're at Yonge in front. There's the old Hockey Hall of Fame, located in a former bank building. So let's head north on Yonge. There's a construction workers skateboarding to work. See, most of the people you see on the streets between 6 and 7 a.m. are dressed up in construction gear on their way to their job sites. There are countless, or it seemed like countless construction sites all around downtown. Wellington Street. Some nice historic buildings at the southern end of Yonge Street. The Irish Embassy Pub. And on this side there are some very nicely preserved old storefronts here. They also run south along Yonge, where we just passed. And you can see the other side of the Flatiron building looking down Wellington Street there. And some of the earliest skyscrapers in the city were constructed here on the southern end of Yonge Street. These ones date back over 100 years. We'll just take a quick look over here to get a better look at the best of the classic skyscrapers. Can't really get a proper look at it from Yonge Street. This is the Commerce Court courtyard over here. Commerce Court West office tower and the classic Art Deco Commerce Court North. At one time this dominated the city's skyline from the early 1930s to the mid 1960s, and that's when the wave of modern skyscrapers started springing up all around it, starting in the mid 60s. And now most skyline photos of the city, you can barely see the old Commerce Court North building. Just from some certain angles you can make it out. Across King Street here. And here's a better shot. So anyone saying that Toronto lacks historic architecture isn't looking very hard. There's plenty to be found in the downtown. That's one of the skinniest towers in the city. It's 1 King West. All right, let's resume our trek north on Yonge. Another old classic there. Crossing Adelaide Street. They're still doing some work along parts of Adelaide to make way for the upcoming streetcar service that's going to be put back into action on Adelaide after many decades of it being non-existent on that street. Of course, because Queen Street will be under construction as part of that new Ontario Line subway, streetcars will not be able to run along Queen Street. It's a wheelie. Temperance Street. Just walked into a snowbank there. And Richmond Street again. That is the Confederation Life building there. And we're approaching Queen Street. I'm going to wrap up this video. So I hope you enjoyed the early morning walk around a sleepy, still snow-covered downtown. We saw it go from dark to light. Quite overcast by the looks of it still though. So leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the waking up of the city walk, I guess you could call it. Let me know your thoughts, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also be sure to hit the notification bell, that way you won't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. And there's also a super thanks button right down below if you'd like to support the channel that way. And you can find me on Instagram under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue.
Thank you.